When I first started looking at what does it mean to design a learning environment for students, for young people outside of school, I began to assess sort of how kids are normally taught in school and also in out-of-school spaces. And what I discovered was that it was missing a lot of things that I thought were really valuable in terms of engaging and motivating kids. If you don't create a need to know for a kid, it's very difficult for them to learn anything. And one thing schools do very poorly, and even some after-school programs, is they don't create a context where a kid actually has to discover how to do something. Kids are incredibly social beings, and the need to create contexts in which kids can share knowledge, share work, share ideas, share expertise. So any learning environment we look at designing, we always build in not only a need to share, but actual opportunities to do that. And the last critical piece that we've really been looking at is the need to create ways for kids to export their expertise outside of a particular community, classroom, after-school program that they may be working in into contexts that are relevant to them, but are maybe unconnected to a school, connected to an after-school program. Quest to Learn is a school that we talk about having game-like learning. And what that means is that we began to ask the question of, if we designed a school from the ground up that was designed around the principles of how games work, what would it look like? If you look at it as a design of a system that engages kids in a particular way, it immerses kids in interdisciplinary or integrated content in the way that games do, it scaffolds learning in a way to provide just-in-time learning. It provides a challenge-based or inquiry-based context for kids where, again, you create a need to know, where they're having to solve in fact, a really hard problem that they may not have all the resources that they need right at the beginning in order to solve. We try to think about the moment a kid wakes up as the kind of start of their learning day. And so kids may wake up in the morning, they may check their email. We have a social network site called Being Me where kids all have accounts. They may check their email, there may be a message there from a character and a mission that they're working on, a message from a teacher, a message from another student that asks them to begin to think about something on the way to school. They come into school, the very first place they stop is home base, which is their small group advisories. And in home base, this year they're doing a lot of work around teamwork and collaboration. They then move to their domain classes, and a domain is simply another name for a class. Classes are 90 minutes long, so we want kids to spend time in a design-like environment where they're building things, collaborating, working in teams, sometimes working in individual instruction or working in groups around a particular problem. And then we have an after-school program called Studio Mobo that this year has a mobile phone focus. When we talk about we have a school that's based on games, the first image that people have in their mind is that we are putting game consoles in the classroom and that kids are sitting playing Xbox all day. So there's a misunderstanding that, one, you can stuff content into a game and then stuff a game into a classroom, and that's where good learning happens. So it's not an idea of putting games in a classroom, but it's rather looking at the design of a learning environment that looks and acts very much like a game acts. What we found is that game designers and teachers share a lot in common, and good teachers really understand what a kid needs, how to challenge them, how to motivate them, how to activate ideas, how to allow that kid to invent things, build things, gain practice, and learn things. And game designers tend to do that when they're designing games.